Carom Billiards explained why three-cushion is the hardest cue sport in the world. The quiet brutality of precision. No pockets, 3 balls, infinite ways to fail. That's the entire premise of three-cushion billiards, a discipline inside Carom Billiards where scoring a single point requires the cue ball to contact both object balls after hitting at least 3 cushions. Miss by a millimeter, misjudge speed by a fraction, and the entire geometry collapses. Most cue sports reward repetition. Three-cushion punishes it. In pool, patterns repeat. In snooker, positional play follows familiar routes. In three-cushion, every shot is a new problem. Angles mutate, rails distort perception, and spin becomes a language you either speak fluently or not at all. This is why, quietly, among players who understand cue sports deeply, three-cushion holds a reputation. It's the hardest cue sport in the world. Not because it looks difficult, but because it hides its difficulty behind simplicity. The rules are simple. The execution is not. Let's strip it down. You have 3 balls, white, yellow, and red. You strike your cue ball. It must hit 3 cushions minimum, then contact the second object ball. That's 1 point. That's it. No pockets, no hiding, no luck-based outcomes like slop shots, no easy escapes. Now, here's the part most people underestimate. The difficulty doesn't scale linearly. It compounds. Each cushion introduces angle distortion, speed decay, spin transformation, table condition variables. By the time the cue ball reaches the 3rd rail, you're no longer aiming, you're forecasting. And forecasting requires something most cue sports don't demand at this level: multivariable prediction under uncertainty. The geometry problem nobody sees. At the core, three-cushion is geometry, but not the clean kind you learned in school. This isn't straight lines and perfect reflections. This is cloth friction, cushion elasticity, ball compression, spin-induced curve, swerve, environmental variables, humidity, temperature. Players use systems, diamond systems, reference points, but elite players go beyond systems. They internalize how speed changes angle, how spin widens or tightens trajectories, how rails react differently across tables. A beginner sees 3 rails. An expert sees a dynamic equation unfolding in real time. And here's the brutal truth. You cannot memorize your way through this sport. You have to feel it. Why consistency is almost impossible. Let's talk numbers. In pool, top players can run racks. In snooker, centuries happen. In three-cushion, a world-class average is around 1.5 to 2.0 points per inning. That means even the best players miss frequently. A high run of 10+ is elite. Matches are often decided by tiny margins. This alone tells you something fundamental. Even the best players in the world fail, a lot. And not because they lack skill, because the sport is structured to resist perfection. Every shot is high difficulty. There are no easy patterns to stabilize your rhythm. One bad leave, and you're forced into a low percentage attempt. So consistency doesn't come from repeating easy shots. It comes from surviving difficult ones, minimizing damage, controlling chaos. That's a different kind of mastery. Enter ELO, measuring skill in a chaotic system. Now we get to the part most fans don't understand, but should. ELO rating. Originally designed for chess, ELO measures players' strength based on who you beat, who you lose to, expected versus actual outcomes. It's not about raw stats. It's about performance relative to expectation. In a sport like three-cushion, this matters more than anywhere else. Why? Because traditional stats, like averages, don't capture pressure moments, opponent strength, match context. ELO does. If a lower-rated player beats a top player, they gain significant points. If a top player wins as expected, they gain little. If they lose, they drop hard. Over time, ELO reveals something critical. true competitive balance. The myth of dominance. Here's where things get interesting and where most people are wrong. In many sports, the gap between number 1 and number 20 is massive. In three-cushion, it's not. ELO data shows the top tier is tightly clustered. Small performance swings change rankings quickly. Upsets are not anomalies, they're built into the system. This means the best players in the world are separated by razor-thin margins, and that has consequences. It creates unpredictable tournaments, constant ranking shifts, high psychological pressure, because every match is dangerous. There are no safe rounds. Why the gap is so small? You'd expect a brutally difficult sport to create large skill gaps, but three-cushion does the opposite. Here's why. 1. The ceiling is extremely high. There's always a harder shot, always a tougher position. Even top players operate far from perfect play. 2. Variance is built into the game. Tiny differences in execution lead to huge outcome swings. 3. No control over table layouts. Unlike structured games, positions are constantly unpredictable. 4. Pressure compounds errors. Because every shot matters, tension directly affects performance. Put it together and you get a system where skill differences exist, but outcomes remain volatile. That's exactly what ELO captures. The mental game, where matches are really won. At the highest level, mechanics are similar across players. The difference? Decision-making under pressure. In three-cushion, players constantly choose between a high-risk scoring attempt, a defensive safety, a positional compromise, and these decisions happen fast. The wrong choice doesn't just miss, it gives your opponent a better position, momentum, psychological advantage. So elite players develop shot selection discipline, emotional control, recovery ability after misses. This is where ELO subtly reflects reality. Players who consistently make better decisions, not just better shots, rise. The illusion of simple shots. To the untrained eye, many shots look easy. Short distance, clean angle, but in three-cushion, easy is often deceptive. Why? Because short shots magnify spin errors. Rail proximity limits control. Speed sensitivity increases. A slight miscalculation over-rotates the cue ball, misses the third cushion requirement, leaves an open table. This is why beginners struggle to understand. Difficulty isn't visible, it's embedded in execution. Comparing to pool and snooker, let's be blunt. Pool and snooker are difficult, but they reward pattern mastery. Three-cushion doesn't. In pool, you can break and run, control the table, build momentum. In snooker, you can construct breaks, dictate pace, create scoring sequences. In three-cushion, every point resets the challenge. There's no run safety through easy shots. Momentum is fragile. That's the structural difference. Other cue sports allow control. Three-cushion constantly takes it away. What makes a world-class player? At the top level, players combine technical mastery, spin control, speed precision, cue delivery, spatial intelligence, multi-rail visualization, angle prediction, pattern recognition, psychological strength, composure under pressure, decision discipline, recovery after failure, adaptability, adjusting to table conditions, reading opponents, managing match flow. Miss one of these and you fall behind. That's why the top remains competitive and unstable. The future. Data is exposing the truth. Here's where things shift. With platforms like Carom tracking ELO ratings, match results, performance trends, we're starting to see the sport differently. Not as random chaos, but as patterns of decision-making, probability-based outcomes, measurable performance shifts. This is the next evolution. Because once you quantify pressure performance, shot difficulty, recovery patterns. You move from storytelling to predictive understanding. Final truth: why 3 cushions stands alone. Strip everything away, and one fact remains. 3 cushion forces players to solve complex, high-precision problems continuously, under pressure, with no margin for error. No shortcuts, no easy points, no dominance guarantees. And when you layer ELO on top, you see the hidden reality. The best players in the world are closer than anyone thinks, which means every match matters, every shot matters, every decision matters. That's not just difficulty, that's competitive purity. 3 balls, 3 rails, 1 mistake, and everything changes. That's 3 cushion billiards, the hardest cue sport in the world.